Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's September 19th, 2019. I'm out by the honey hut, and today I thought I'd give you a brief update on what's going on with the honey hut. Early this spring, I mentioned over the last couple of falls, we've had a big dearth of our honeybees. Although we have hives occupied, as many as 8 or 9 hives occupied by good colonies of bees. Later in the fall, just about all the bees disappear. I don't know what's causing that yet, but it is a concern. I'm sorry about the tractor noise. The neighbor's turning the hay, getting ready for baling the hay soon. So what ended up happening was this spring, despite there really not being very many mason bees at all and almost no honeybees, which this place, in the springtime, we're used to seeing honeybees even if the colonies are wiped out in the fall. But this spring there just weren't any, so I predicted a very low yield in the food forest, and we've had a significant production of fruit throughout the food forest, and I attribute a lot of that to the wasp species that are here. And there are a few wasp nests inside of the honey hut. Actually, when I was harvesting garlic this spring, while harvesting the garlic, I disturbed 3 ground-bound yellow jacket nests, which are wasps. And inside the honey hut, I have 3 good-sized nests for wasps as well. These are all airborne wasps, all yellow jackets inside of here. We have nests of bald-faced hornets in different parts of the property as well. And all of these wasps have been very, very beneficial. What prompted me to think about talking about this was yesterday Greg stopped by, who drops off loads of wood chips for us sporadically. And when we started talking about the wasps and all, he was rather surprised about some of the benefits of the wasps. And unlike honeybees, during the fall months, after our big heavy first frost, the queen has left the hive, or the wasp nest, and has hibernated, and the rest of the wasps die off, and they leave these beautiful paper wasp nests. Even the ones in the ground are paper wasp nests. And the wasps the adult wasps, you'll see them going around to the flowers. You may see them coming to your picnic table or any place where there's sweets and all. They feed on the nectar for themselves. But when they're going back to their nest and feeding all their babies, they're bringing back all of those pests that are in your garden. They're bringing back all of the, just about every single pest, all of the caterpillars in your garden. Although we have quite a number of cabbage moths, those little white moths that you see flying around the garden, the wasps are coming in and taking those little green caterpillars and taking them off to feed all of the babies that are in the wasp nest. So that's really a wonderful benefit. Now they do get some of the beneficial insects like the lacewings, but they get all the ermines, all the caterpillars. And we used to have problems with the spotted winged Drosophila fly and coming into our raspberries, and we haven't seen that at all this year, and very reduced last year. And I attribute that greatly to the number of wasp nests that I'm trying to have established. Now I did kill those 3 ground-dwelling wasp nests that were in the garlic bed because I was harvesting the garlic and all, and I knew I'd be working with the bed further. The wasps, the really large wasps that are inside of all of the apples on the trees and the peaches and all, I leave the ones that they've already started on and let them have those, get those benefits, because I'm looking forward to what they're doing with all their babies. They're feeding them all of those pests that we don't want on the property. So we have almost no loss due to pests in our gardens, and I attributed a lot of that to the wasps that we have on the property. So I know people have asked me, well, why don't you remove the wasp nests that are in with the honeybees? Aren't they just going to take over the hives? Well, as long as we have a rather small entrance for the honeybees, if they're a decent colony and if they're hardy enough, they're going to go ahead and defend just a single small opening. And our openings are like this. They're a few inches wide and only 3/4 of an inch high, I think, or 1/2 inch. I can't remember right now. So those are defensible positions. And one of the things you can tell about a wasp is they have a restricted waist, a very, very narrow waist, where a honeybee has no narrowing of the waistline. They're almost tubular shaped on the long axis. The other thing that's kind of interesting about wasps, they can sting you a few times because they don't have barbs on their stinger. So where a honeybee for the most part can only sting you once. Now that isn't absolutely true, but their stinger gets lodged into you because it's shaped like a lightning bolt. So the honeybees we think of as, for the most part, the European honeybees that were introduced here are pretty docile. And I'd say that's for the most part. We have all of these hive boxes were completely empty this spring, and swarms from other areas came in and occupied the hives. So we have 4 nice size hives in there. One of the hives, I went ahead and added another box on the bottom because we're using Warren type hive boxes, and so you put the new boxes on the bottom as opposed to the traditional way that most people are familiar with, beekeepers and all. And I did pinch a few bees, which happens all the time, when I was adding a box with top bars to one of the hives. And that hive was, I guess I would say, they're pretty aggressive. The truth is, they're responsive or defensive. And either they can be locked and loaded, in other words, ready to respond when the pheromones are released from an injured bee that's going ahead and signaling to the rest. They release a chemical that's called a pheromone as opposed to a hormone. A hormone works within our body, working from one organ to another organ as a chemical communicator, where pheromone works between the same species. And when they release that chemical, which can be sensed through the air, that can trigger them to either go for food. This is a good location for the food, or it's time somebody's attacking us. So one of the things we want to do is when we're in there and we're working, even though I've asked other people not to go into the hives, into the honey hut, for fear that they might get a little bit stressed out because the wasps will be behind them if they're in there and the honeybees are in front of them, and when it's really nice and warm out, it can be distressful for someone who's not used to being around wasps and bees. So I'll take the GoPro camera and walk by some of the hives so you can see what things look like. Wasps are pretty interesting, and I think we can learn a lot or we can be benefited a great deal by learning to work with wasps in our environment, as long as they don't pose a threat for someone getting stung, or especially with somebody who has an allergic sensitivity as well. So if you found this video of value, please give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends. If you have any thoughts or comments, please leave them below. And by all means, have a great day, folks. Bye-bye now.